changed his mind or what?
Because he had told me originally, no, we have to make a new plan, we need more copies, but I think he changed his mind.
I think we do need more copies. We still need more copies. Because whoever's in there is going to need a copy.
Well, some of them are not using them really.
Okay.
I mean, Ricky is.
I was.
What?
I spoke to Jay about like my copy already, but like whoever is using this, we need a copy outside. Make an argument that there's plenty of copies that aren't being used outside either.
Correct. That's the argument. I mean, Ricky needs one. I think he has stuff up here. Although
No, he does.
What?
He does.
Yeah. Well, Michael Levy says now available. He doesn't need his copy anymore. I can check that with him. Ezra Cohen doesn't need a copy. I mean, there are people who say, "Well, I bought a lifetime copy. It should still be mine." You know?
That was the biggest mistake from this. I mean, whatever.
No, it was my mistake.
I was raised to know.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no. But if someone were to make a tiny now, I would say, okay, this is lifetime means you're still a paying member of Shiur and you're here. But or no, if you pay the truth is, if you pay membership, then you've earned the copy. Now, unless we change all the rules, and I don't know. I use my copy.
So do I.
All the time.
Happens to be there's like I'm literally in Shiur from like 4:35 to 8 o'clock in the morning. So I need to know what's on here. Can you say, well, yeah, there's already film actually. So there's nothing you have to do except when it ends, like tap it and slide it to end it, and then a dialog box comes up and says, do you want to put this up onto YouTube, whatever. Just make sure that little box is checked off. Checked off.
What little box?
There's like a dialog box to say, like, you want to put this up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Gary's here.
Gary's here.
Gary's here.
Bring it over. Bring it over.
By the way, you were in. Were you here last week?
2 weeks I was out. Last 2
weeks.
Out?
So it didn't end up going on YouTube because you were out. So I'm like, well, someone did it, but like, I don't think it was on.
So you're saying whatever I'm doing, I'm actually.
Whatever
working?
you're doing, it's amazing. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Usually what I do is I say, Daniel, help me out here. So that's usually what I'm doing.
It's already going. So you don't need to do anything right now.
Shut it.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is when it ends to do the slide thing and make sure that the thing.
Why is it already going?
Why is what?
Why is it already going?
Because if there's no YouTube link set up for me, I have to create it myself.
Yeah. And
when I create it myself, there's like this lag time between it being created and for me to be able to publish it live.
Yeah.
So if we start it like at 9, 10, it takes like a few minutes for it to then go up.
So there's just lag time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could edit it out. Like, whoever edits the videos can edit it out, but like, I don't want to. If someone's actually listening to the show, I don't want it to be missed. I don't know. And you got a solution?
Nope.
Alright.
Josh, afterwards just leave it?
Yeah. Just hey.
How are you? Very good.
Hey. Yeah.
I just learned an amazing thought. Not even that's totally different. 2, 6, 8. Let's be in touch later today. We'll see what time. Could be I'll be back by then already as well because we're headed out. So it could be I'll be back around 4:30, which is, I imagine you won't be by my house till about 5. Does that sound right to you? Or maybe a little bit later. Looks like another seat opened up for 1900.
You gotta see this. Usually, the bigger person goes, the smaller person usually goes to the bigger person, right? Like the students usually go into the Rabbi.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Rabbi has to go down to the student.
Yeah.
So you see where this is going.
Yeah.
The Hainu, Shalom outside of Knesset, Medina, he has to go out to his Talmudim in other places. If I'm in the Talmudim in Etzim, sometimes obviously it's the opposite. Usually, like I said, usually the smaller goes to the bigger. So he says, this is like the biggest bechina. The Hainu Shagado and Nice, like, and Zeis bechina, he Gedai, it's for the fact. For a bigger person to go to a small person, is the biggest. Huge bechina. Why? He's there.
What do you do? What do you do with the tablet?
Oh.
Gary, did you see the tablet?
Oh, yeah, it's over here.
Oh, you're running it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's debatable, but
Okay, you got
he
it.
gave me instructions here.
It's easy to do.
He says here, he says Pasha that he needs to go to the greater person to get the Makabo from, to get light from that person. Like to get to receive that. Sometimes that light is so great, it's too much for us. So it has to be, in order for us to receive it, for the cotton to receive that light, it has to be lessened a little bit, constricted. Our king. So this is literally Hamelch B'Sada. That's what this is the same. This is like literally an Elul Torah. Hamelch B'Sada. Hashem's coming down to us. Hashem's coming down to us. It's the bottom line. It says here that if a person what's Muchach? I always forget what that means.
Incumbent.
Right. Right. So the gadol he has to be some. There's a nut. He's a nut, so he has to be buckle himself in order to give over that to us, and he's coming to us. Or Katsas Kodesh Yichol Katan okay, so go circle Leichel Katan Zehu go Etzem so obviously when that happens, we find that when a bigger person goes to that smaller person, when the Rebbe is going to the Talmud, this is going to bring him up into, it's going to bring him up. It's going to be to raise him up tremendously. Obviously, you see this by Moshe. You see this by Moshe again. Moshe Rabbeinu was the biggest honor, but yet he was in the highest level. Even Aaron he went to Aaron. He went to him. He went to Yeshua, and he brought him up. The delight was so great that he had to diminish him for that. It was coming straight from Hashem. This is Bechom Makom Sha'atam Maitze Gedola Gedola So Sham Atam Maitze. So anytime you have a place with such greatness like this, then you're gonna find Anivus there. You can't exist without that. You can't be great unless you know how to be welcome. I didn't go into the rest of it yet. I just found it like his mom was like I went to the this is exactly what I was like. This is pretty wild.
That's crazy. I think about that, right? See, it shows where my head's at. I'll tell you my answer later why that doesn't matter. Okay.
Holiday weekend.
Holiday weekend? Next week's a holiday weekend. I'm saying slichus. What's the Shabbos? Yeah, we'll see if we have. I don't know if I can have Chabur next week. We'll see. I feel like a lot of people are going to be davening at 9 o'clock next week. Slichus. So we'll see. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're on page 140, I believe, the left, on the bottom paragraph here. So we started discussing last week about another mistake that people make when it comes to money. Right? We've been in this sugya of hishtadlus and money for a while now. Not looking to run through it, looking to be shakua, learn to be Ian. And we were discussing the inyan of hishtadlus for a while, on the proper level of hishtadlus. What is hishtadlus? It's a mitzvah hishtadlus, right? To work and to bring out your inner kochos and to be tested, and of course the support of family. But there's many pitfalls. What we're explaining now is part of the nisyonos of hishtadlus, and that's what the Baal Chavos Levavos told us is what's the point of hishtadlus. The point of hishtadlus is nisyonos. It's to be tested. That's what he told us. Right? That's what he said. The trust that a Kodesh Baruch Hu will take care of you monetarily, that's called bitachon. But part of that is that a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us to put our kochos hanefesh into something. Most people, it's going to be some kind of daily work. There's so many different types of works. A few people will be sitting and learning. Chavos said, working in your Shemayim and whatever that may be. But for the vast majority of people, Kodesh Baruch Hu wants them to, for some hours of the day, doesn't say how many, he wants you to be doing hishtadlus in order to bring in your inner kochos. Now the reason is because it tests us and it builds us and it makes us better people. But the tests are difficult. The tests are very subtle. And we've been discussing everything in the Sefer is our tests of what a Baal Bitachon is going through, how we can become a better Baal Bitachon, with the pitfalls of a person who's not a Baal Bitachon, and we're trying to align ourselves. And so we just started discussing last week. I mean, there's so much, and let's just start. To go back even one more week would be
an extra 45 minutes. But just last week we started discussing one of the problems in when a person gets into this world of hishtadlus is that he might be trying to run after mumnus for kavod. His inner motivation, and it doesn't have to be 100% kavod, but if it's a serious percentage of why he's going for money, right? Everybody's going for money because they need to eat and sleep and have clothing, and they're also going, if they have a wife and kids, they want to provide for them at least the basics. So for sure, part of a person's motivation is going to be pure and holy, but it's all the extra motivations that person might have, and each person has a different percentage. But these percentages are in our heads, and they can cause us to do sometimes silly things without us even realizing it. We're a big mixture. No one is fully covered. No one is fully taiva. No one is fully... It's a big mixture, a big bilbul inside of us. One of the points is to realize all the different points of bilbul that we can have inside of us, to know, have das, recognize what's going on, and then to slowly bring it in and to align ourselves to at least it won't be a big bilbul. And if a person is running after, let's say, money for kavod, at least you know that, and then you can bring it back. You can even bring it back to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, right? To say that if I'm running after money for kavod, just to say, snap, well, that's bad, let me just stop that right now. That's not realistic. But at least if you know that, and you know, okay, Kodesh Baruch Hu, so you gave me this netiya, this inclination towards a little bit of kavod, I'm struggling with that, help me realign myself that my motivation for money should not be about that. At least now you're in the game. Now you know what you're dealing with. Now you have a chance. And slowly but surely we can bring the percentages in a more pure, holy place. We could realign ourselves with ourselves and stop running after all different types of motivations. So, this problem, as he explained, there's many reasons why a person would run after money for kavod. And he explained to us last week, the Baal Chavos explained to us that people think that if you have money, you get honored. So therefore, when a person has an inyan that they want to be honored, so they run after money. Where do they know this from? Because that's what the world does. The world honors those who are wealthy. Why? Maybe because they're hoping that they're going to get some of the money rubbed off on them. If they befriend the wealthy people, maybe they'll get some fringe benefits. And in a deeper way we explained last week, why do we honor the wealthy? Why do we honor the entertainers, the sports players, all of that world that we honor? They don't really have necessarily intrinsic value to them. So why? Is because we feel that we are lacking in certain areas. The person has a low self-esteem, low self-confidence. He hasn't yet appreciated the shoes and the talents that he was given, which is part of Bitachon, but he doesn't yet appreciate that, so he looks to connect to what he considers to be successful people, what the world considers to be successful people. Memela, I want to connect myself to those worldly successful people because then I feel good that I'm connected to them, and therefore that's like becomes part of me. And when my team wins, I win. When my actor wins an Emmy, is it Emmys? Emmys? Yeah? There's a lot of awards, I don't remember which one. When my actor wins an Emmy, Oscar, thank you. See, not Emmy. What's an Emmy again? I don't know.
Another one.
It's exactly another one. Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's better you don't know. If my actor wins an Oscar, so then that's my guy. So I feel good. It's just an emptiness, feeding an emptiness, which is going to stay empty and empty. And then when he gets old, then you have to find another actor. And then when this sports team loses, what did I tell everybody last week? Just be a front runner. Just be a front runner. Or who they tell me? A winner picker. I think my kid told me it's a winner picker. We're front. We that's the old school language, front runners. Maybe it's a new language.
I use fair weather fan. If this team wins, I'm their fan. If this team wins, I'm their fan. If that team wins,
it's the way to be. Then you stay happy.
no, exactly.
Then you stay happy, and you're not really connecting to one team. So you're also happy because you're not meshubed to some sports team. Anyway, that's a little parenthetical, but not parenthetical. I'll go upon him. So let's get back. 138. 138 here. Is that where we're on? 138? No. 140. Sorry. Yeah, I think we did, yeah. And then it's just now that I peaked at 139, one of the biggest problems with a person whose motivation for money is coming from honor and kavod, there is no end to the amount of honor and kavod a person wants to receive. Therefore, there's no end to the amount of money he's going to want to make. Right? If money equals kavod, and I'm running after kavod, and kavod is infinite, therefore my redifas hamamon will be infinite. That's a problem. It's a big problem. Then you never end. You always want more hours in the day to work, to make more years. There's never an end game. There's never enough because it's based on honor. So 140 on the bottom left here says, "V'ilu haskilu v'hevinu ki ein b'yacholtem v'lo b'kocham v'lo loses v'lo lemnoel elu misha gozel lo abore etzlam lo hayu mekabel zeloso lo hayu roy etzlam lechavud elu mish yechadu habore b'malos meshubachos roy ba'avur and lichvod habore yisala k'mo shekasav ki mechabdai achape." Where the masses to think deeply into the matter. It's a chashuv thing to think deeply into anything nowadays. Where the masses to think deeply into the matter and understand that the wealthy neither have the ability nor the power to give or withhold money to anyone other than the one for whom it was decreed by the Creator. This is thoughts of bitachon. Kodesh Baruch Hu is the one who decides really where the money goes. It's not the wealthy guy. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants this person to have, so therefore he uses the wealthy guy as a shliach. Can't tell the wealthy guy that because he thinks he's not a shliach for anybody. If they would think about this, what? No, I'm joking. That's his mind says, I'm not a shliach for anybody. I'm the guy. They would not rely on anyone else other than God to provide for them. You don't rely on the wealthy people. You do business with them. You speak to them. You do your hishtadlus with them. Hishtadlus does not equal reliance. Hishtadlus does not equal bitachon. That is not a proper equation. Hishtadlus equals hishtadlus, and bitachon equals bitachon. So you can do hishtadlus with people who it makes sense logically that a Kodesh Baruch would want you to do hishtadlus with to make the money, but the whole time, as we've discussed, I know it's more of a visual, but the whole time when you're dealing with your hands with the person in front of you, you're always, always, always relying only on the one above, Kodesh Baruch Hu. And maybe this person will be the sinor, the shliach from God to me. And if not, move on. Nothing to get upset about. That's why it's dangerous it's always dangerous to have expectations. This guy is going to be the one who's going to give me all the money. Even if you are from, and you say, this is the guy that a Kodesh Baruch Hu decided is going to be the one. You have this all the time. I hear these things, and you probably have also, or maybe you think this way. You'll have a person who's whatever, let's just say it's business. We're in the business world right now. And I had this the other day, the last 2 weeks ago. Guy calls me up and he says, he's thinking about this business, this work, this job, because he wants to leave something. And he says, and then somebody tells me about a person who's also trying to do some kind of deal. So I call him up and we're schmoozing and we find out we both grew up in the same shul together. We really know each other. Oh my gosh, match made in heaven. It's a Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's basically saying it's got to be. Hashgacha pratis. It's got to be. I'm like, no. That's not how it works. Just because you find out that this person, there's a lot of nekudos. Lav dafka, that's the Ratzon Hashem. Right? We get caught in these stories. That when, I got this phone call and this and that. It just happened to be. It must be that this is right. I said to the guy, how is he in business? Do you know anything about it? Are you just relying on a miracle? Or do you actually know? Right? You're doing hishtadlus now. We're in the world of hishtadlus. Right? Not in the world of miracles. Is he good at business? Is that good at business? What has he done in the past? Let's say this guy has nothing to show on his record. Nothing to show. Now, this guy, this businessman B, not my friend, businessman B, wants $1 million investment to work in the business. So now you have my friend, let's just say, he's being asked to give $1 million, promised, of course, lots of money, and what? But there's no report on the business guy, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu orchestrated all of these points of Hashgacha Pratis, must be. Is that a cheshbon? Is that a cheshbon? If you think it is, then you're stuck in the story world. That's not an appropriate cheshbon. Proper hishtadlus means use your brain. That doesn't mean this is not appropriate, but if this guy has nothing to show, why would I give $1 million to him? And if you think that you're this high-level Baal Bitachon, and you're thinking in the back of your head, this is going to be one of those miracle stories, I would stay far away from that. That's not proper. That's not according to Shaar Habitachon.
But there's nuances.
There's always nuances, but I'm just giving you a very vague, basic case. This is not a place that you would just throw your money in because I read a story like this once. I read a story like this in a book once, that this is what happened. And, okay, so you put $1 million down, but don't be upset at a Kodesh Baruch Hu when it doesn't work out. Because maybe it was just a test. If it works out, you do your shtadlus, we do be normal. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to use our brain. Because using your brain also makes you a better person, right? So you do your checks and you see. And it seems like, you know what? This guy actually does have a good portfolio. It does make sense. Oh, thank you, Kodesh Baruch Hu, for allowing me to find a guy who it makes sense that he can make the money, and it's somebody I know from growing up. But I don't think you don't rely on miracles. I don't think that's appropriate. You can disagree with me, but it's not according to the Chovos, I don't think. Now, what we're trying to do in general with bitachon and Chovos specifically, the whole point always has to get back to menuchas nefesh, simcha, yishuv hadas. When you trust in a Kodesh Baruch Hu 100%, and whatever happens, it's on him, and therefore it's my best, so I can be okay. To the degree where even if I put money into an investment, and I put it in with full bitachon, you really have bitachon. You trust the Kodesh Baruch Hu that this is what he wants you to do. He wants you to be a stockbroker or whatever. And you decide with your shtadlus and your das, it makes sense that this stock is going to go up. And you did your research and you did it. And you said, Kodesh Baruch Hu, this one is on you. I trust you. You put the money in and it tanks. You lost all your money. The point is to say, okay, Kodesh Baruch Hu, this is your will. It's not my will. I did everything I could do. Obviously, this is what you want, and it's the best for me. And you stay calm. That's what we want to get to. Anytime there's some ulterior motive, covered, pushing you to make money, taiva, anytime that now becomes, you're not relying on Kodesh Baruch Hu, you're relying on those motivations. That's where the pain is going to be. When something doesn't work out, whatever percentage of motivation was not pure, that's going to hurt. Some people more, some people less. So when your motivation is for honor, I'm making money to get honor, which is all self-serving, so now you're in a world, it's a dangerous world. What happens when you don't make the money? Or you're not making enough, whatever those numbers are. You're stressed out and you're worried. What happens when you make the money, but no one's giving you honor like you expected and wanted? You become stressed and you become worried. This is the complete opposite of a Baal Bitachon. Complete opposite, right? This is what's going on behind what the Chovos is saying. Everything in the Sefer is about getting to Bitachon, so you can live a happy, calm, tranquil, menuchas and nefesh, yishuv hadas diga life with a Kodesh Baruch Hu. If you're not, something is off in that area, you have to probe. Where am I off? Where are my motivations self-serving? Where are they not just with Ratzon Hashem? And sometimes you can have the guy, let's go back to the case. So you have this guy, and he thinks, oh, Kodesh Baruch Hu orchestrated this whole thing, and now you put the $1 million in. If it hits, great. Kodesh Baruch Hu gave you a nice bracha. Let's say it doesn't hit, so you lose all your money. Now what? Is this guy going to be super calm? Well, listen. HaKadosh Baruch Hu set it all up. It was Hashgacha Pratis. He obviously wanted me to lose $1 million, so he tricked me into this guy who I grew up with. Everybody following the story? Yeah? He tricked me to get me to give money to... Okay, haha, Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's really funny. But okay. No, that's what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted. Who's gonna... Do you know anybody who would be able to do that? If you're living on this nace, this hashgacha pratis, wow, Kodesh Baruch Hu orchestrated it, what do you think in the back of your head? It must be, I'm going to make $10 million. Or...
Expectations.
That world of do. It must be, even though this guy, again, has no real backing, it doesn't really make sense in terms of business that I would give this guy money. So you're believing, expecting that this is a way of a Kodesh Baruch Hu to let me win the lottery. If you win, gewaldig, thank you Hashem. What if you don't? What happens then? Now what? Tell me, what's the reaction of this person? He's just going to move on? Everything's going to be okay? Or is he going to be upset at a Kodesh Baruch Hu for tricking him? He's going to be upset at his old friend for taking his money. He's going to be very upset. Who would be able to stay calm in that area? Your motivations are not coming from bitachon. They're coming from, I want some quick money. So you're going to use, do. Our minds can play a lot of tricks on us. Oh, it's sunny outside. It must be a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants me to put money into solar energy. If a person is thinking about money all the time, and he's stressed about it, and he's worried about it, it's possible it's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's possible that a person, he's thinking about, you know what? Maybe I should put money into solar energy. Okay, let's just say, whatever that, okay, that could be an investment. He goes, and he doesn't know, should I not? He has this guy, says yes, this guy says no, he's not sure what to do. He says, Kodesh Baruch Hu, I'm leaving it up to you. He walks outside, it's a sunny day. It must be Hashem wants me to put money in solar energy. Because it's sunny outside. I don't know if that's if that really works. People think that, but then again, what happens when that doesn't go? Is he then okay? Does he then say, Kodesh Baruch Hu, yeah, you tricked me. But haha, it's okay because that was just a little joke that you had on me. Or is he going to be upset? Kodesh Baruch Hu, you tricked me. Why'd you make it sunny today? If you would have made it not sunny, I wouldn't have put the money in. It's your fault. When you start with this stuff, it's just dangerous. Kodesh Baruch Hu, according to the Chavos, wants us to find out who we are supposed to be and work on that day by day. Go to the gym day by day. You go to the office day by day with the ups and the downs and the all-arounds. And a lot of days are just like grinding it out. And that's part of building. And then at a certain point, you hit big. That doesn't mean monetarily. I'm talking about your inner self. You break through in different ways. Not to go for motivations of kavod, not to go for motivations of stress and worry about money because the Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to provide for a person. It's a different mindset. It's very, very, it takes time to get there. That's why we're slowly chipping away. So let's go back here. Sometimes I get lost. I know. So were the masses to think deeply into the matter and understand that the wealthy neither have the ability nor the power to give or withhold money to anyone other than the one for whom it has been decreed by the Creator, they would not rely on anyone else other than God to provide for them. You won't rely on the people. You can do hishtadlus with the people. Don't rely on them. Don't expect. That's where the danger kicks in. No person would be worthy of their honor except for the one who has been distinguished by the Creator with praiseworthy character traits. That's truly honorable, honest character traits without ulterior motives. If you're humble because you want people to think you're humble, and you're Baal Chesed, so you could turn it into making money later on, those are not proper character traits, right? That just means you have taiva and you have gaiva. It's not anava and right. It's not anava and chesed. Right? What are the real motives behind the person? That's very, very important. It's the only thing. Except for one who has been distinguished by the Creator with praiseworthy character traits, for which he is worthy to be honored by the Creator, may he be exalted. Only those who are deserving, page 141, only those who are deserving of God's honor are deserving of man's honor. But who could be deserving of God's honor? The author continues by quoting a verse pasuk that says that Hashem honors those who honor Him. It says in Shmuel, for those who honor me, says Hashem, I will honor them. How do you honor HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How do you give kavod to somebody? How are we mechaber people? Nobody knows. One of the ways of, if you honor a person, when honor kavod is from the word kaved. Kaved means heavy. Right? This person has weight. When I'm thinking about something, and I'm thinking, well, what would that guy do here? That means he has weight in my head. That means I'm honoring him. I'm thinking, what would he do? Right? The guy who doesn't make any money, I'm not thinking about what he thinks to do because I don't honor him because he's not good at what he does, and therefore he has no weight in me. I'm not thinking about it. So if we're constantly thinking about the Ratzon Hashem, what would Kodesh Baruch Hu want here? What would he want there? Trusting him is not the greatest honor. That's honoring Kodesh Baruch Hu. So if we honor Kodesh Baruch Hu, then he'll honor us. Whatever that means. But I want to bring out something very, very important. The Chovos does not bring it out. Where have you seen this pasuk? Outside of Shmuel, if you've ever ventured into Shmuel, after 9th grade. This pasuk is quoted in Pirkei Avos. Ki mechabdai achabed. Pretty sure it's quoted there. No?
Yeah.
Hashem says, if you honor me, I will honor you. Says the Mishnah, Pirkei Avos, Ezehu mechubad. Right? Eza Yashir, everybody knows. Eza Gibor, everybody knows. Right? Who's the rich one? That's all bitachon. Who is the strong one? The one who controls his Yetzer Hara. Who is the honored one? Right? Who's the honored one? What's the answer? Can I remember?
What it gives honor.
What do you say? Someone who honors other people. Did I write it down? So who's honored? One who honors other people. We can't go into the whole share of this now, but Shenemar ki mechabdai achabed. When you honor me, says Hashem, I'll honor you. So when we honor other people, truly, Kodesh Baruch Hu is saying you're honoring me. Because when you honor other people for real, okay, we need another 20 shirmen and kavod. But to honor somebody truly means you have to be a true anav. A true anav is somebody who honors HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? Where does anava come from? Because I'm humble towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the emes. And if you can truly honor another person, that means really you're honoring HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, this is the person that I want to honor. Moshe Rabbeinu is, of course, the paradigm for this. Aaron Cohen. Right? Just it's an important note because we've been discussing lately about the union of bitachon and midos. And we're trying to mix that in, how a person's midos are very dependent on bitachon. And so for all of our ben adam chavero, which is really, really dependent on the pureness of it. And the success of it is going to be dependent on a lot on emunah and bitachon and deep work between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when we honor other people, we really honor HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because if it's really dependent on emunah and bitachon, it just becomes this triangle. And it's a very happy place. When a person starts to grab honor, because he wants people to honor him, he just totally pushes the HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of the way. So these people aren't really even honoring me, because it's not real. They just want my money, or they want to rub up against me or something. So the people are really, it's just fake. Kodesh Baruch is not with me anymore, so then I just become lonely. That's why people who are looking for honor always, either it's never ending because they're not really getting it. So they keep pumping in more money and more resources into getting that honor, or you become angry people, right? Because they're not really getting anything. That's not the way in the inner world to gain anything. The way in the world to get to receive inwardly is to connect with emunah bitachon to Kodesh Baruch Hu and to give to others wholeheartedly. That's how you really become happy. Not a rag, that's a different thing. To honor other people, to look to help them. And it really, really, truly stems from an understanding of Emunah B'Tachon. 141. Get ready for this. Page 142, read a little bit. Okay, fine. Let's pause right there. Hopefully we'll get to it. So listen to this. Since the masses are foolish in their honoring of the wealthy, right? We don't honor money. We honor what people do with money. We honor, really, we're supposed to be honoring inner motivations. We never really know what a person's motivated. We should have the Bikurim. Right? The Mishnah, the Gemara says that when the people who bring Bikurim would come to Yerushalayim, everybody, even if they were learning, but usually when you're learning Torah, it's a mitzvah, you're part from another mitzvah. I'm pretty sure it's the Gemara Kedushin, I think. It's later. We're not there yet, Daf Yomi. But when they would come, everybody would stand up for them. Because there's a kavod, just like there's a kavod to a zaken, there's a kavod to Talmidei Chachamim, tzaddikim. There's also a kavod to stand up for those who are bali mais, it's called. It could be in halacha that you should say, there's a big bal tzedakah, bal chesed, you should stand up for him. There's a certain honor to that. Do we really know their motivations? We don't really know their motivations, and we never really will. But there's something to the acts that a person does. Okay, but it would be foolish, he says, it's foolish in honoring of the wealthy just because they have money. That's pashut foolish. Right? Since the masses are foolish in their honoring of the wealthy, thinking that the latter are deserving of their honor, well, he made all the money, and money is gold, so therefore I should honor him. The Creator adds to their foolishness. If you're going to honor other people because of money, means you don't really have bitachon, you're not really connected to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Because if you were really connected to Emunah B'Tachon and Kodesh Baruch Hu, you would only honor those who a Kodesh Baruch Hu honors. What does Hashem honor? Those who have good midos, those who have Emunah B'Tachon, right? You're only supposed to honor those who a Kodesh Baruch Hu honors. But if you're honoring just pashut wealthy people for no other reason, just because they are wealthy, they made a lot of money, that means you're not honoring HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not trusting in him. And then as we learned in the Hakdama, when you're not having bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're having bitachon in something else. And when you're trusting in something else, it's another world. And it's a very dangerous, scary, and sometimes sad and depressing world. What's going to happen? So if you're off, again, if you're off in honoring wealthy people, that means you're off in your bitachon. If you're off in your bitachon, your whole mindset, it's hard to explain this, your whole mindset is in a different place. You're going to make big mistakes. For example, the Creator adds to their foolishness when it comes to the pursuit of their desires, and throughout their lifetime, they need to overindulge in strenuous work in order to obtain their wealth. When you honor those people who are making money, so therefore you think that's how the world works, you're going to now overwork. You're going to make too many phone calls, you're going to stress out too much. You're going to enter into this world called the world of money, where yes, of course you believe in God, obviously. Of course he's there. If anybody asks you believe in a Kodesh Baruch Hu? Of course I believe in a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Well, why are you working at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why are you taking emails before Shacharis? I thought you said you believe in a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Yeah, but this is what he wants me to do. It's really because this person honors wealthy people. He doesn't have bitachon. He's in this world where he thinks that's how money is made. And he's just in this bad cycle. And therefore he makes all these mistakes. If you honor a Kodesh Baruch Hu, if you have bitachon on a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you keep the halacha. And, right, checking emails before Shacharis might not be so kosher. You can ask your local Orthodox rabbi. And besides that, you also, if Kodesh Baruch Hu really loved me, Dennis, he wants me to work until 3 o'clock in the morning, every single day. Is that what he wants? Now, it could be yes. Maybe yeah. Maybe 3 o'clock is when I really bring out my best kohos. Maybe then the next morning I wake up at 7 o'clock to daven a gavaldik shachars and I learn amazingly because I'm up till 3 o'clock in the morning. But if not, is that really what he wants? Where's our honor? Where's our bitachon? But if our head's not in the right place, we end up making a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. And we don't even think they're mistakes. We'll rationalize them. That's a shtadlis. This guy's doing it. They thereby, now listen to what happens. So now, you're often the bitachon, therefore you're often honoring wealthy people in your thinking. Now you start to make mistakes in your own ishtadlis, thinking that you also have to just keep running around because you also want to make money to make honor, just like that guy, because that's cool. That feels good. What's going to happen? They're going to neglect their obligation the Creator has imposed upon them. Shayu chayovin lishtadil v'hinichu ma. Let's just read it in Hebrew. V'hinichu ma shayu chayovin lishtadil bo. They're going to leave that which they are required to do hishtadlus in. Ulamari lo mehashem chovas abar asher lehem. Well, what are these? What is this obligation? If you were reading this, I want to point this out. You're reading the English here. Right? These people are making mistakes, and they thereby neglect their obligation the Creator has imposed upon them. So how would you understand that? What is this obligation that the Creator has imposed upon them? I better know what most people are thinking. Not that it's wrong, but I'll let you say it anyway. Right? Even when we're reading, you're reading a Chovos Levavos, and Baruch Hashem is translated into English, and it's Gevald. But you have to read slowly. People, you can't read the Sefer fast. You can't read any Sefer fast. What does he mean over here? They're going to fall into doing these crazy ishtadlis and yigiyas, rabbis their whole life, and they're going to leave their chiyuv. So one basic way a person would say, oh, they're leaving Torah mitzvahs. They're going to end up making a lot of mistakes, and they have obligation, Torah mitzvahs to keep halacha. These people might not learn as much, not daven as much, might break halacha, that could be one way of explaining it. I think that. But specifically what?
So
what's their obligation?
It's a twofold. Number one, it says, Kodesh, you are everything that I'm doing. I'm now going to try my very best here, in which way we ever all agree that we can do this. And your mission, but it's still all you. No, it's not what you want.
No. It's definitely part of it. I'm going to take this. You're going, like Moshe's saying, you're going to make a mistake. See hishtadlis here, he should have said bitachon. You're not wrong. What he's saying is that if you really trusted, if you really had bitachon, right? This one doesn't have bitachon. If you really had bitachon, what hishtadlis does a Kodesh Baruch Hu want from you? The hishtadlis that's going to make you the better person that you're supposed to be. B'tzalmeinu kidmuseinu. Not kimamon, not for mumminess. We weren't created for mummin. Our hishtadlis is supposed to be go get a job that brings out your kochos, and work as much as good for bringing out your kochos. At 3 o'clock in the morning, when you get all cranky and you're hungry, you start yelling and ripping people's heads off. That's probably not proper hishtadlis. So, but if you're motivated by the money, by the honor, by you're off, you're going to make a lot of mistakes in your hishtadlis. You might pick the wrong job first of all, which happens to a lot of people, especially in the Chovos Levavos. You just go for the biggest money. Even if you do get a job that's close to what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants from you, you're going to make a lot of mistakes in your Pashat Hishtadlis. You're not going to see it bitachon properly. You're not going to work through the nisyonos properly at work. You're never going to become who you're really truly supposed to be. Never aligned with your inner self. You're never happy. You're never going to really be truly happy. You're always running after something else but yourself. Bitachon allows a person to always run after himself. But not out of gaiva. Out of HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to be me. I don't think I could be me because I'm too busy with money. I don't think I could be me because I'm too busy with honor. Person, we live our life, we're never actually running after ourselves. I think this makes sense, no? It's crazy. There are people who do, but it's, yes?
Is there such a thing as, there is such a thing as, but in our world that we're in is timeline. So you're in this situation, or whatever work you're in, but there is an end is on the path. And you say, okay, we're all collectively working towards this. I mean, the people that I work with, for the most part, all Yirmi Ginsberg, we're all aligned with this. But we know we need some more time in order to be matzliach in the way that we're hoping. Kodesh will make it for us. So he said, well, you're working too hard, you don't need this now, you shouldn't do this now. I mean, it's a very specific situation.
Yeah, and also to answer a question.
But the thing is, a person works towards. People make hishtadlus towards. And now, I'm not saying the miracle.
Why did you go to work today?
What?
With bitachon, it's not just. You can't just ask. What does bitachon say about this? Why did you go to work? Are you with the Kodesh Baruch Hu? You're not with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. If you're with the Kodesh Baruch Hu,
Right.
That's why I'm here, and it comes out according to your cheshbon that he wants you in this job and he wants the company to make money, and it takes 18 months to get the thing done. So I put the time in. But what happens if it doesn't work? It doesn't. So you see that it's not what he wants. But you have to make sure that you set yourself, your kovei at the beginning.
Why do you say it's not what he wants?
If it doesn't go.
Because you're reading it based upon an expectation. Because you're like hishtadlus is like a tax, so to speak. You have to make hishtadlus. It's a tax. You got to pay the tax, whether you like it or not. It has nothing to do with the outcome of what you're doing. So why would you say that if it doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out, then Hashem obviously didn't want you to do that?
He didn't want that expectation you had to work out. The 6 months that you put into it, that's what he wanted.
So you have to specify that, because you didn't say that, because the way you made it sound, the way I read it
that
was
the
that
6 months was a waste?
Right.
No.
That's the way he didn't want you to be doing that. So really what you're saying, really what you always have to put at the forefront of your mind is that hishtadlus doesn't equal outcome. Hishtadlus equal hishtadlus. That's what you have to do. Outcome equal outcome, which is really not. And it's
outcome is bitachon.
Right. Outcome is
hishtadlus.
And you really have to separate. And don't ever try to combine the two. And when it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out based upon whatever outcome you had in your mind. Sometimes people are very positive thinkers. Sometimes people are very negative thinkers. But whatever the case might be, is that outcomes, Hashem. Hishtadlus, us.
Because the outcome is already determined. So
correct.
What we're learning here is that the Torah is going to give us calmness regardless of the result.
Yeah, same. It's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah. And therefore, whatever 6 months of work you put in, that was what was meant for you, and now it's move on from that. I'll give you an example for the Gemara. Just one second, because you said me. It's very, very important. Shimon ben Musani. I'm sure everybody knows this Gemara. He darshan what? Every S in Shabbat Torah. Aleph Taf. S. Bereshis Bara S Hashemayim ve'S Haaretz. The word S is not really needed. You could take out the word S many times, and it would still make sense. Bereshis Bara Elokim Shemayim v'Haaretz. So what is S? S is something extra. So he went through every single one in the Torah, and he went to darshan every one. What is added? What did Kodesh Baruch Hu mean in that little gap? What did he want to add? Right, you remember how many Aleph Tafs there are in the Torah? He gets the whole thing, and he gets the Es Hashem Elokecha Tira, and a Kodesh Baruch Hu you should fear. And he says, "What could I add? Well, we should fear Hashem, and what? And wealthy people. There's nothing to. You can't add to anything to fear. You fear God, and that's it, right? We don't fear anything else. So he had the whole program. He had thousands of drushes. And he threw the whole thing away. He says, it doesn't make any sense. Just like I got schar. It's very important. These are all bitachon the Gemaras. Just like I got schar for the drisha, for being doresh, every single S, I'm going to get schar for the prisha. Throwing it all away. Yeah. Imagine your life's work, where you thought was emes, you get to the last point, and you realize, you know what, the whole thing taka was off. It's off. You ready to throw the whole thing away? If you started with bitachon, then you could throw it at the end.
Well, the Ramah did that.
The
Ramah did that.
Ramah?
The Ramah.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so what I have been told was that when the Chacham put the Shulchan Aruch together, the Ramah at the same time was doing the exact same thing.
Oh, I heard such a thing.
So then the Shulchan Aruch published before he did. And so he threw all of it away. He says, no, I'm just going to annotate to the Shulchan Aruch. There should only be one halacha sefer for Ganz Klal Yisrael. And he, in his great anava, just put Hagaz in where he felt that the Ashkenazi...
I think I heard something like that. I can't verify it, but could be. But what happened, just to end off the Gemara, it's very, very important. So he's ready to throw his entire project. I should make this much more dramatic, but literally his entire life's work, he's ready to throw it away. And then what happens? Comes Rabbi Akiva and says, no. I can give you a drasha. What? To be marbet talmidei chacham. You can. There's a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us to fear talmidei chachamim. He wants to honor them and to fear them, and therefore you can be marbe this. You can be marbe talmidei chacham to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So he saved the world. He saved this whole thing. Nice Gemara. But still, how do you compare fear of a Kodesh Baruch Hu to fear of a person, a talmidei chacham, to a Kodesh Baruch Hu? Is that you're bothered by?
I just don't understand it.
So I think like this. Yira Hashem. We know Yira is the same gematria as Gevura, right? Yira is an Indian of Gevura. Now, what does Gevura mean? We just mentioned it there in the Chabura. Ezo Gibor. Who's a real Gibor? Not the one who's stronger physically than the next person. We're not much. That whole mission is nothing physical. Ezo Ashir Asamech B'Chelko. Not Ezo Ashir who has 5 houses. Ezo Ashir Asamech B'Chelko. It's inner. Everything in the mission is inner. Who's the Gibor? Who could be Kodesh Yitzchak. So who's a Gibor? Who's the strong one? Who can control his inclination. Who can control his taivas and his yetzer. He's the Gibor. You have a person who went through all of Torah. He had this magnum opus. Unbelievable. Darshan every Es Torah. You imagine? You can't even imagine such a thing. Thousands of pages, a life's work. Didn't take him a day, a week, a month. It took him 10, 15, 20 years. Who knows? And he gets to one Es Hashem L'Kechatir and he says, oh my gosh, I should have started with this one, you know? How could I compare anything to fear of a Kodesh Baruch Hu? Because since he was such a Yarei Shemayim, Shem Ben Musani, he was such a Yarei Shemayim, he couldn't imagine comparing anything to fear of a God. That's because he really was a Yarei Shemayim. He utilized his gevura, a yarei, someone who is a gibor. I'm throwing my whole life's work away. All the taiva, all the honor, all the everything that was saying, no, it's okay. Just put an asterisk by that one. It's okay. You know, we couldn't figure this one out. But the rest of them are emisdik. He says, no. I mean, kovish that. He does not say I'm a gibor. He was a gibor. He was a yarei shemayim. He threw the whole thing away. Because he was such a yarei shemayim, he couldn't compare anything to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And then he used that same koach to put down all the Yetzer that are pushing him to put it out. He says, no. The highest level Yarei is the highest Gibor. Yes? Everybody with me? So comes Rabbi Akiva and says, wow, such a person. There could be such a person who's such a Yarei Shemayim, such a Gibor, to be able to put away his life's work because he's a Yarei Shemayim. Shimon HaMunusani became the Es Hashem L'Kechatir. We could be Marbe Talmidei Chacham because they have Yiras Hashem. A little bit we could fear them just like we fear Kodesh Baruch. Because of what he did, he became the Es. If he wouldn't have done that, we would never have a parish for Es Hashem L'Kechatir. You'd never be able to compare the fear of a Kodesh Baruch, the fear of a human being. You can't. But because he was ready to put away his life's work, because he was the highest level Yarei Shemayim, Rabbi Akiva says, you became, now we can give a shot because of Shimon ben Amisani.
So it's like he was able, because he was willing to lessen or hold back. That's what brought up the koyach.
We're in awe of that. Be in awe of
and
that.
Therefore, as Hashem L'Kechatir, yeah, you could say awe. If you like the word awe better, we could say awe.
Yeah, because that's...
Fear, the word fear, it's better. Stam, the word fear is a bad word to use nowadays. Awe is a much better word. So he became the S. That's what he became.
That's the person that deserves the cover.
What?
So going back to the lesson, that's the person that deserves the cover, not the person with the wealth.
Exactly. Right. Doesn't have to be such a high madrega.
No, it's the midah that we're looking for. It's the middos.
The midos, the one who's connected to Kodesh Baruch Hu, ben ad mechaver, ben ad makom. That's the person we should mechabed.
So funny because he said, as soon as he said S, he said Al through Taf.
That's what they say. They say that whenever it says S, the reason he knew the remez was that to be marb is because S is Al through Taf.
It's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive, except for now that we're going into something different. What is memait?
Comes to exclude?
Yeah, which word in the Torah? The Gemara always says, oh, this word is coming to be memait.
Excluding.
Ach. Ach, but ach is aleph to chaf. It's halfway through the osios.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
S is the whole thing. Ach is, that was, I think, Rabbi Yosef Kiktili. I think I've seen that. The Baal Shariora. Anyway, Lamaisa, we'll pause it here, but if a person's often is his thinking, he's going to neglect all the proper shalos that the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants him to do to become himself and to be a truly happy, truly calm, tranquil person.